In this video, we're going to be talking about finding your first rental property. How do you do that, right? So get your pen and paper out and we're going to jump right in. But before we jump into the details, you must understand real estate is about minimizing risk, maximizing return. So in order to do that, there's a tool. What we call here at ISREA your investor identity. You need to know who you are as an investor and where you're going and how you're going to get there. And how do you measure that? How do you know you're there? So the first thing we do, build out your criteria, or some say the buy box, okay? And as we get into that, there's two drivers. Cash flow. What's cash flow? Gross rents, all income into the property, minus expenses, minus your mortgage payment, minus vacancy. That then, whatever is left over, is your net cash flow. Next is your net worth, right? It's another driver. What's net worth? Pretty much it's all your assets minus the liabilities. That's your net worth. The more net worth you have, the more financially secure you are. Okay, so these assets that you're buying are making your net worth a lot stronger. A mentor always told me the more streams of income that you have coming into your life, the more financially healthy you are. Let's show you how to get there, right? So your property criteria, where do you want to be, let's say, or how do you get out of the rat race? Let's say you need $5,000 a month to cover your living expenses and potentially not have to work once you know all your bills are covered. So if $5,000 is your number and you want to maybe get there in 3 years, 5 years, doesn't matter, there's no right or wrong answer. And we're going with the example of netting $300 per month per property. So if you wanted to make $5,000 a month from your assets, you're going to need about 16 to 17 properties netting $300 a month. You can go, it could be doors if you want to go into the multifamily world, or it could be houses. You got to come up with that number. So what's your target number you're trying to achieve and get to? Some other property criteria. So now you got to go into the property criteria. As we build out your investor identity, so you have your goal, you have your target. So where do you want the property, right? Are you going to be investing locally or out of state? Let's stick with your own backyard. So what part of town do you want to invest in? So you may have heard A class, B class, C class, D class, right? There, all this stuff you just got to look up. There's a lot of definitions to that. Obviously, A is the best, D is the worst, right? At some level. I always was taught to keep it simple and dumb it down. Walmart, Target, Nordstrom, they all sell black shoes or black t-shirts, right? Just different quality, different pricing. Okay, so let's just keep it simple for these videos. So you pick the neighborhood that you want to be in. Me, I always stuck to, what do I know? I grew up in that Walmart to Target transition, so I know what that person wants in a house. They don't need the stainless steel, the granite countertops, the luxury high-end items, right? They just want a safe, clean, affordable home, and the kids can go to school down the street safely. Location, pick that out first. Property type, where can people live? Condos, mobile homes, single family, multifamily, right? So you got to pick the property type. What's the economics around these properties? Right? So when you're in these areas and you know the property type, you got to know the price of these properties. What do they go for? What are they worth when they're fixed up? How much do they rent for? How much cash flow do you want? Can you get from these properties, and do you want from these properties? What's the average appreciation in these areas? Next, condition. What kind of condition do you want to buy these properties in? Do you have the skill set or the resources or contractors to take a full gut rehab, take it down to the studs? Are you okay with foundation and roof and AC issues? Like we call them big ticket items. Roof, AC, plumbing, electrical, right? Are you okay with that? If not, which I don't recommend on your first rental, maybe some TLC, right? Paint, carpet, or turnkey. So how much repairs are you willing to take on? Next would be features and amenities. Do you want a pool? Jacuzzi, block wall, 2-car garage, right? What are some of the features and amenities? Do you want to be an HOA, gated community? These are all things you want to take into consideration when building out your investor identity and your buying criteria. So now that you have the understanding of what's involved in your criteria, you need to do a little bit more research. How are you going to get that research? Well, the best thing and easiest thing to do is call real estate agents in that area that you chose, right? So now you kind of have an idea of what you want. So you're going to call Google Zillow, Redfin, Google Property Managers. They're very easy to find. Agents are marketers and they're easy to find. And as long as they answer their phone, you'll be good. So call agents in those areas and you say, hey, I'm so and so. I'm an investor and I'm looking to buy a rental property in this area. I'm looking for a single family that has no pool, has a 2-car garage, is close to this school. So you kind of give them some ideas. And then you're going to ask them 5 questions. So grab your pen, grab your paper. You're going to ask those agents and property managers, what type of properties are in highest demand, right? You want to know, you want this to rent out, right? What do people want? What area of this zip code or this area of the city? What are they demanding? Number 2, are there any areas I should avoid? Especially here, I'm here in Phoenix. Things, you can cross a train track, you can cross a freeway, you can cross a block, and the neighborhood could totally change. What areas should I avoid? There's always areas of every city that you definitely need to avoid. What features are, and 3, what features are most requested in this area? Kind of what I was going back to before. Do they want certain type of countertops, certain amount of bedrooms, certain type of appliances, washer and dryer included, or the hookup? What features are most requested? Next is, how long does it take to rent out a property? So this is important because you want to know, especially if you have a mortgage on the property, if it's going to rent out in 2 weeks or 2 months, right? Because once it's cleaned up and ready and rent ready, you're making that mortgage payment and you got bills to pay. So you have to buffer that into all your expenses when you're acquiring the house. So it would be good to know how long roughly it should take to rent out in that area. Next question, last one, 5. Is there anything I should know that I didn't ask? Great question, right? We don't always have the right questions. There's always these unique situations in any given neighborhood that are helpful to know about, whether good or bad. So let the agent open up to you and let them be the professional that they are and give you their expertise.